and welcome to another edition of Poland Daily Travel. Here we're very close to the German border in Żary. That's Z-A-R-Y or Z-A-R-Y if you're American or Canadian or maybe Australian. I don't know how they say it. At any rate, now that we got that out of the way, look at this behind me. This is the remnants, with most of the walls intact, but it's not very. You see the roof falling in here, the clock tower, which looks like the very top was done, but we're praying that it won't fall down. It's a 13th century castle, 1200s, when Żary was a major stopping point on the route from Saxony in Germany, which is over that way, going on the way to Głogów, and then on the way to perhaps Kalisz and on to Warsaw. So this was a major stopping point. It was later redone. This is not obviously a medieval castle. It's a, sorry, there's a truck warming up. Every time we start shooting, there'll be nothing going on and someone will get in a truck and start. In the quietest small town, it's as if they see us shooting and they say, it's time to move. So, at any rate, it was redone in the Renaissance style. And there's also was a huge landscape park. Now, the landscape park still looks pretty nice, particularly, I'm sure, in the spring and summer. This is February, of course. And, but the really interesting part is the palace that someone built attached to this in, I believe, the 18th century. But we'll go around and look at that and give you a different view of the castle and that palace, which is immense and also in disrepair. So this whole complex, now in private hands, has not been renovated. So if you're in the mood to buy a castle, this is the place to come. You can turn it into the world's largest B&B, I suggest. Okay. We'll see you in just a moment with a different view of the castle. Okay, everybody, welcome back. Now, we came over here into the middle of what would have been the landscape park. I mean, it still is a park, and it's pretty nice. There's a pond and lots of nice benches for people to sit on, and it's stretching right the way, a whole from a roundabout down here all the way to the where you turn in to go to the town center. Behind the palace is the Rennick, and you might see there's a tall church, the Church of the Assumption, I believe it is, through the trees. Okay, we can only see this in the spring or summer. You wouldn't see anything, but we can just make out the castle and the Promnitz Palace. So this is a Bieberstein castle, which, as I said, is 12th century, 13th century, and then renovated in the Renaissance, which makes sense. Renovated, Renaissance, and this is the German palace, which was built 1700s, 1800s. This sort of magnificent palace, perfect for a king or a queen, or both, or a prince, or a duke. Yeah, you take your pick. I don't care. And, but not if it's Harry and Meghan. They wouldn't like a place like that. Anyway, they put a nice roof on it because obviously the first thing you have to fix if you're going to renovate something and this is in private hands now. It's supposed to be developed, no doubt, into, as I said before, the world's finest B&B, or perhaps hotel, because there's nothing much around here. There's nothing much around here. But we'll talk more about in the next program, location of this place, when we go up to the Old Town Square, the Rinnick, as the Poles call it. So anyway, this they put this roof on it in the last decade, because if you don't have a roof on something, as you all know, the roof leaks, then it starts to fall, and then the rest of the house starts to disintegrate. And there's virtually, from what we could see looking in the windows, there's no interior here at all. What a shame. Who would have let such a beautiful building in a prominent position, the main position in a town of 40,000 people, who would have let that fall into disrepair? I'll give you three guesses, and the first two don't count. Communists. So if you're a lefty and you're in favor of communism, that's the kind of stuff you get. Grand and beautiful things falling apart, even if they're owned by the state, or by a private individual who wants to make them into a beautiful showpiece. Anyway, look, here's a landscape park. There's a sort of coffee and tea place here in the summer, no doubt, and you can see it's stretching way down here. And in the summer, this would be really pretty. And it goes down there, but that's the nicest part. Right, so let's walk down and we'll get some pictures and show you closer up what the Berberstein Castle and the Promnitz Palace look like. I mean, this was some grand vision, wasn't it, to put this huge palace next door to this Renaissance castle. I mean, the imagination and the time it took to build this with stone and all the other materials necessary to construct the outside, let alone the inside, which must have been lavish, to say the least. Okay, I'm Will Richardson in Żary, close to the German border, about as far west as you can go, and beautiful Lubusz, Lusatia is the old name, the ancient name, isn't it? Okay, see you next time.